So, Ernie, besides John Wall, do you feel you guys got better in the rest of the draft?
We do. You know, we addressed some of our needs, and we wanted to get young players that we can build with and build a core with. A couple of players we're still in discussions with that I can't talk about. We did move 30 and 35 and moved up to 23. We also had 56. And by the time you guys write this, it'll be okay to talk about it. So, and we got Trevor Booker from Clemson, who will be our player. He's a tough, aggressive, hard-nosed competitor. He's mature. He's played in college for 4 years. He's very athletic. He's a good rebounder and a real pro kind of player. He's a very serious kind of guy and with a great work ethic. In the second round, we got the Big East Defensive Player of the Year in Hamadi, and we'll see how his situation works out. But he's long, he's a good defender, he's a good rebounder, he's an outstanding kid, and he'll be playing with us hopefully in Summer League.
With Booker, you mentioned a 4-year guy. Not a lot of those around, but does that change your expectations for him early because he's more seasoned and he can maybe step in a little bit quicker?
Well, it remains to be seen how everything works. You know, it's really up to the players and how much they contribute. He's really fast getting up and down the floor. He's very aggressive. He's a good rebounder. He's very physical. And one of the things we wanted to address is the physicality of our team and getting tougher. And I think we've added a couple of players that have shown that they have some toughness and will compete and are not afraid to put their bodies in the way.
Can you help us on the timeline of that? Did you make that trade seeing that Booker was there to be picked and that he was the guy you wanted specifically there, or was that? Or
there were 2 or 3 guys, that we were looking at, and we were hoping to get 2 players that we were really looking at 30 and 35, but it didn't look like it was going to happen, and we wanted to make sure that we got the player that we were looking at, and that's the reason we moved up. But if we stayed at 30 and 35, we could have lost both the players.
Ernie, is this rebuilding process, as far as the rebuilding process go, is this kind of exciting for you because you got a number 1 pick now, and with all the free agents, there are lots of. Have you ever been in a situation where you've had to do so much to, for a team to get it back on track?
Yeah, it's happened before. Not necessarily in this kind of situation. It's always been rebuilding on the fly. When I was with the Knicks several times, we kind of rebuilt the team, and it was a lot to do. This situation, we're rebuilding with youth. In that situation, we got more veteran players and wanted to be competitive right away. And we want to be competitive, but at the same time, we want to get the kind of players that are going to be with us long term, the kind of players that we can build a core with, and players that are hard-working and willing to do whatever it takes to win basketball games.
How does what you guys did tonight influence what you potentially could do in free agency in terms of needs?
Well, I think everything influences something else. We still have needs. I think we filled a couple of needs, but also with young players, you want to let them develop and want to let them grow. We have some solid veteran players coming back who are also very young, but they've had some experience, and we'll have to add a couple of pieces to that.
With such a robust free agent market, how enticing? I mean, you see all these names out here, whether it's Amari Stoudemire. I know you can't talk about the names, but whether it's Amari Stoudemire,
I'm listening though.
LeBron James. I mean, how do you guys approach that, Ernie? Because this city has always had this mindset that the Wizards are never going to stay away from a particular free agent. And I know, of course, that Ted has gone down saying that he's not going to just throw money at free agents. But you got a lot of you got a tremendous amount of cap space, Ernie.
You're right.
But you don't want it just sitting there like a piece in a museum. I mean, fans want to see the Wizards do something.
I think it's going to be very exciting. I think the fans will see an exciting team. And I think they're going to be excited because we're going to have a lot of young players who they can see develop, and guys are going to compete on a nightly basis. And like we said, we want to be competitive for many years to come. We have a new collective bargaining agreement coming up. We don't know what that's going to be like. And I think the way we're going about doing this worked for the Capitals, and that believes in it, and I believe in it, and we're going to try to carry out that plan.
Because of that collective bargaining agreement, does that make it interesting in that you want to see what comes out of collective bargaining before you start?
Sure, you want to see what new rules will be in place. We don't know what they are. It could
Right.
be like they are now. It could be different. Most likely there's going to be some change.
There's going to be some change.
So we want to see where we are and go with it from there. But it's very seldom one player steps in and changes the whole course of the franchise by himself. That's why we want to get these young players, as we said. We want to continue to grow with them and add pieces. And, I mean, this whole process started last year, the trade deadline, when we made some changes. We traded 4/5 of our starting lineup and cleared up cap space and gave the opportunity to young players to play significant minutes, get some experience. And I think some of them showed that they can be very solid NBA players. And now obviously, when you go into rebuilding and you're fortunate enough to get the #1 pick, that's very helpful. And we got a player that's going to be with us for 10, 12 years, maybe 14 years, who's very competitive, who's a winner, who's a very hard worker, who's an outstanding athlete, and someone that wants to win and makes players around him better.
As a young player, I mean, 19 years old, what kind of, it's hard to forecast, but what kind of ceiling does he have, potentially? What kind of ceiling does John Wall have?
He could be an outstanding player. Really, that's going to be up to him and how quickly he develops and how quickly he feels comfortable in the pro game. But he has all the physical tools to be an outstanding player. He's a very good defender, which you normally don't see in young players coming out of college. He takes pride on that, and he has close to 6'10" wingspan, and he rebounds, he pushes the ball. So he does a lot of things, but there's going to be a learning curve. There's no question about that. We don't want to put too much pressure on him. He's going to have to learn like a lot of rookies, but a lot was expected of him when he went to Kentucky. It's a major program with 24,000 people there every game and a huge following, and he showed that he's an outstanding player.